You go then.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to Breakthrough from Your Monkey Mind. We are on season 4, episode 11. My name's Leanne, and I'm here with my host, Tony Gordon. Hi, Tony.
Hiya, how are you doing, Leanne?
I'm good, thank you. And tonight we are joined by Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Leanne and Tony.
Oh, thank
Okay.
you. I love that. And Tony, I am the host. I can see
Well,
this being an interesting episode. Yes.
Lisa, just to start with, we do like to find out a little bit about who Lisa is. So if you wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about who you are.
Okay, I am Lisa. Well, I was given that name at birth. And I'm a mum of 2 boys, and they're my life, and I don't know where I'd be without them. I have done beauty therapy for not what I've done, sorry. I get confused with this question because it's quite not what you've done, it's who you are. So who I am is
It's quite surprising. The reason we asked this is just to get so that the listeners can actually resonate with the people, the guests we've got on. It's amazing how people cannot talk about themselves.
I know,
Seriously,
and I'm
but
sure
it
I
is
knew who I
something that
was.
we don't like doing it, but it's more difficult if you don't even know who you are. I was
Yeah.
given this name at birth. That's quite a good start. I was given that name at birth.
I like that one.
It was
You've
just a
got 2
label.
boys there in the world, right? What ages are they and who are they?
Okay, so they're 2 boys, and they're going to be big ages this year. So 21 and 16, big birthdays.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say like 8 and 6.
No, no. So they've getting older. They didn't really want to hang about with me as much anymore. In fact, they didn't really
Oh.
want to sit in the same room as me, as you can see. But yeah, they're my life, and I really honestly didn't know, I don't know where I would be without them. Like, they've been my saviours, and I just want to really make memories with them now that I'm getting older, and they're getting older, but they didn't really want to make memories with me. So
well, if you think about it when you were their age, did you want to hang about with the old ones in the family?
no, I
No.
was
Right, we've
I
all
was
said
too
the same
vegetarian.
thing. I was having a conversation with somebody else today about another podcast thing about teenagers and why you can't reason with teenagers and how you're going to try and do it. But people forget we were all teenagers at one time. And
Yeah.
we now maybe the ones are saying, okay, as you get older, and as parents, they're like, well, this is what you have to do. But then you never did that when you were young. You didn't
I
listen
know.
to parents, man. And I know when I was 16, I was 16, 17, I moved out of the house. So I wouldn't even have been with parents for that side of it. I was only visiting. You've now got a 21-year-old as well. And I'm sure the 21-year-old doesn't want to be running about with mum all the time.
Yeah, definitely not.
No.
And when I was that age as well, actually, when I was my youngest age, I had my first house. So I'm so grateful that they're still staying with me. That's good.
That's
Grateful.
something. You're getting a bit more time with them as well. And you said they make the
Yeah.
memories, but you've made a lot of memories up to this point as well. And
Yeah.
there are things you've actually told me what you have done. So you have done great with that.
Yeah.
But how do you handle that then? Is having a 16, 21-year-old, a curiosity, just because the thing I was talking about today, teenagers, you've been through that with them. So how did you handle the fact trying to reason with them?
Difficulty sometimes because they're emotional boys, but they're so loving and they're helpful. Yeah, it's been a journey with different things on over through the years, really, moving and them moving schools and settling into new areas. So it's been a bit of a transition, but yes, everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I think the last few years, yeah, it's just been we've moved house, and then we've started in a new area, started new schools, started new life, really, and so that's been a wee bit of a challenge, but a challenge that's been for the best. It really is.
Good.
Yeah.
Right, so we've tried to get the Lisa part when they were not getting much out of that, right? So that, but okay, right. So the next part is why you're here anyway, why you've come on. So
So
that may be easier for you to talk about. Is
yeah.
all right. Talk, ease of you that where does Lisa's journey start and how does it get to here?
Okay. So my journey started when I was born. And
She's going to be a long night, I'm telling you.
I told you, Tony, I start talking, I didn't speak. So
I know you said from the start, but yeah.
Basically, I feel like from high school, I sort of started, I just felt a bit like the odd one out, like no part of anything, no part of any groups. I think, like a lot of families, our mum and dad had split up, which affects loads of families. But I think when you're young, like 9, I've got 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and I think back then it was quite an emotional time where, like, when you're younger, you take in the emotions, you see emotions of your mum or of your family, and then you take that on when you're younger, and then when you're moving, you think you've dealt with it, and as you move through the years of your life, then I just started being a bit off the rails, and I was like party queen, looking for like somebody for like a void. There was a void, something missing. So I mean, everybody goes out in parties, and but it was like escapism. So I would take it too far, and just like drunk, just like partied, and then I really wasn't in a good place when I was younger. And looking back now, I thought it was fine, but looking back for high school, drinking and sitting in my room drinking sometimes just to escape reality. And I remember just feeling like I just wasn't a part of anything, or wasn't loved, or I felt like that. But obviously I was loved. But these emotions when you're so young are so strong. So I just started hanging about with people who were party kings and queens as well, and didn't really want the party to end. But it sounds just like, I mean, loads of folk go through that, loads of folk do, but the feelings in your mind, actually, like really no loving yourself, hating yourself, grew as my journey went moving forward through life, and just attracted the wrong people into my life, the wrong type of men into my life. I think you sometimes attract what you fear the most. So just unhealthy relationships, the same, I would just attract the same kind of partners, and always worked all my life. Like, since I left school, I've always worked, and so I wasn't like drinking every day or like taking drugs every day. This was like when you were going out at a party, and you didn't want the weekends to end. But drinking Thursday to Monday wasn't really. You think everybody was doing it, but actually everybody wasn't doing it when you get older and you look back. So then obviously, like, got older, then grew up and got my own business, and had my own shop. Then I probably I went into partnership with somebody. Then I ended up, after the first year, walked out my own business. It didn't work out, and then I took a breakdown after that. So I just couldn't get off the couch. I was drinking like wine regularly, eating trays of food, self-harming with food, like emotional eating, and really, my mind, and I just thought, well, my mind was like racing all the time. It was like a roller coaster. Thoughts, overthinking everything, thinking like you're just on your own like all the time, and I was just at the lowest point in my life. Like, if it wasn't for my boys, I really don't know where I would be. I actually don't know where I would be throughout my life if I never had my boys, with some of the situations that I got myself in. And I could have easily, if my boys weren't here, just kept the party going, and God knows where I would have been, because So anyway, they were my saviours. And then, so I had the breakdown, and then I realised I just did not want to feel like this anymore. Like, got 2 boys, like I didn't want them to see me like this. So I hated myself. So I just started looking at, I don't know, something clicked, and I just never wanted to feel like this anymore. So I just started scratching the surface to like motivational people, things on YouTube. I started journaling, got a journal, and started writing down how I was feeling. I started looking at things on YouTube, like motivational things. I started having cold showers, and I like researched Wim Hof and Joe Dispenza, and started listening to all these people. And I was on antidepressant tablets for 8 years. They had me on them, and I was like, I tried to come off them, and then I realised. Then I thought, I can't come off these. I really didn't. I need them, and then I started taking them again, and they were just making me do the same thing, sit on the couch, like still miserable. So I was the same off the tablets or on the tablets. So when I started scratching the surface of the wellness, and then I got exercise in my life, that was like the medicine. So it was like my drug. So I started making myself the project, like, so I started getting addicted to healthy habits, starting habit trackers, made myself every day. I had like lists of habits, so trying to like change my personal reality. So my old, like, I realized through the same cycles, because you have to like go back through your journey and find out like where it's came from, why you keep on repeating the same, like sabotage. You're sabotaging yourself. Every time I've done something good, I would just sabotage it. I'd get so far and sabotage. So I realised it was the same cycles, and it all comes from the root, all come from me and my inner self, like no loving myself. So then the journey brought me to connecting with myself, feeling that I am worthy, because I never felt worth anything like my whole life for some reason, and it all stems back for like your childhood and how you took in the emotions at that time. And you think it doesn't affect you growing up, but it holds you back for everything. Or it affects your life moving forward, definitely. And then, yeah, so I got into fitness, and then I joined CrossFit, and CrossFit was just like the best thing I've ever joined in my whole life, honestly. And the community, the exercise, the endorphins, I love it. Like, so I joined that, and then I started looking into courses for meditation and wellness therapies, and I was in a relationship as well, actually. So on my journey, my wellness journey had just started, and then I got into a relationship, fell in love, and yeah, it wasn't a good relationship. He had addiction problems, seemed to attract people with addiction problems for some reason in the past. So yeah, but he, at the time when we first met, he was addicted to go to the gym. So then I was joining the gym. So the two of us were going to the gym, and we were training, and we were making our food, and yeah, it was like we were on the same page. But then he had his troubles, so it just really got from bad to worse. And then, so eventually, again, in this cycle, I found myself losing myself, and at a breaking point, up and down like a breaking point. I wasn't myself, never seen anybody, and I just, again, like the emotions, like so up here just to back down here again. So eventually, I managed to, after going back loads of times, I managed to cut the emotional cord, and then had freedom, this sense of freedom. So this journey's obviously been going on. So I've been healing and letting go, and then I found Kundalini yoga and went to a class, and I was like, because I was interested in the breath work and the meditation and exercise. I went to this class, and it was everything. The feeling, I was like, I need to learn this, and it's a breakthrough healing. So yeah, I went and done the course for Kundalini yoga as well. And as I was doing the course you have to do the kriyas are healing practices, and each kriya is like a prescription that you would go and get it for the doctor. So there was one of the kriyas that we had to do for 40 days, and it releases like deep-rooted trauma or emotions that are stuck for the past. So we had to do it for 40 days. And I was like, by this point, I was on my journey. I was like, my vibration was high. It was great. And then these tears and this crazy crying was coming up. I said to my teacher, why is this happening? Because I'm in a good place. And she says, it's your energy, because you've obviously got stuff there you need to release. So it's like your energy systems and your aura, it works on your auras are all around you, and your arc line, which is your halo. So we hold on to these energies through our whole body, and through our timeline as we move forward in life. So it was just a breakthrough. After they done the Kundalini yoga, it was another breakthrough, healing, letting go. And then I was at the NLP course. I just got addicted to anything that's got to help my mind and my body. And then because I felt like that, like the lowest place, like I really didn't want to be here. I was driving in my car, I wanted to crash the car. There was loads of times like that I felt like in my head, but obviously I've got my 2 kids, so I would never ever leave them. So yeah, I just wanted to learn anything for my mind and body, but because I'd felt like that, I wanted to start helping other people like that. So that gave me more drive. So done my NLP courses, which also helps people to help them change their mindset, or release, or just help them with a new way of thinking. There's loads of different practices that are just another breakthrough healing. And then because I love fitness, I went and done my HND in my health and fitness and exercise, which finishes in June. So after I do that, no more courses for a while. I'm just going to bring everything together, and that's what I want to do, is like help other people with tools and therapies to help them, anybody that's one-to-one or workshops. I'm not sure if I've missed anything out. Probably have.
No. Well, first, thank you. Because it's a lot to actually talk about and say, and you open up about as well. And it's not easy when people do that.
Yeah.
One question I have for you right away with us then, would you say you've got an addictive personality?
Yeah. I've analysed it through my journey, and it's like the devil and the divine on my shoulder. And not so much now. I'm obviously addicted to my training, because if I didn't do my training, oh, I'm no good. I need to have that to keep my vibration. I like to keep my vibration high. So the tools that I've learned keep my vibration high. And obviously we're only human, so we go through life and things go up and things go down. So you're still going to have your low days, but you've got the tools there bring you back up to help you quicker and get out of it quicker than if you didn't have the tools.
Just because some people can go from one extreme to the other, because they feel that the extreme depths in life, and then they find something that makes them feel good even for a short space of time, like alcohol, right? So the wine, in your case, you were talking about, people find that and they get addicted to that thing because that's what makes them feel good. Or it could be drugs, or it could be prescription drugs or other drugs.
Yeah, totally.
But what can happen is you can go the total opposite side, because they start finding something else that makes them feel that, like doing courses or doing exercise. But you also find that some of those people can go to the extreme. They do it too much. They can overdo it. And you mentioned something like that with you and your partner that were doing it together, but you said he was addicted to the gym.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That can take you, who's got an addictive personality then, and take you to the extreme side of doing that, when you could actually do more harm than good to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you sound what you need is balance. You've got both sides of that then. So you've done, through all the hardships, the turmoil that you've went through, and what you've, because of how the feelings you said you had and the low you get, you've put your body through a lot as well. With the emotional eating you mentioned, about the drinking you mentioned, even about the emotions themselves that you were going through. It was like a roller coaster. So you've went through all of that, but then you go, the fitness side can't be the opposite. How do you now balance that? So on a day-to-day basis, that you know exactly where you have to be, so that when you're working with your clients, you then can empathize with them, but you can keep it enough for your self-control that you know what to do for them.
Yeah, I definitely have been through especially when it was lockdown, like I was, and even just before lockdown, I was really overdoing it, everyday training. And I was addicted. I had lockdown I loved because I just had my habit trackers. I had a whole day jam-packed. If I got up in the morning to go to bed at night, honestly, I had these habits, healthy habits, but my vibration was through the roof. But I was doing my yoga as well though, because the fitness, amazing. Definitely, this is the endorphins that I love. But also then there's a balance for the yoga or breath work, meditation. So that gives you need to have that. You have to have the balance in everything. You're balancing your negative and positive mind. Have a neutral mind to try and detach to make better decisions in your life, and try and detach for the negative and the positive. And also for energies, male and female energy, your hormones, like everything just is balanced. And sometimes you know yourself when you're out of balance, you're not really low, or you know what you should be doing sometimes. And in real life, now that we're back out of lockdown, it's just it feels so busy because you're used to having that time for you and yourself. I made myself a project. And then I think because you've done that, you've had like jam-packed, and you didn't feel like you're doing enough sometimes. But yeah, because we're working, we're at college, we're trying to fit in a wellness plan for ourselves.
But then your healthy lifestyle that you're jam-packing in, does that then become an unhealthy addiction? Because you made yourself a project. So are you then criticizing yourself? Do you beat yourself up, if not physically, but before Tony says it, but do you beat yourself up? I'm waiting for the comment. If you have a cheat day or do something throughout that day that isn't in that routine, do you then sort of like punish yourself for it? Then does that then become that unhealthy addiction that you're now getting?
Yeah, it's like self-talk, because you're like bullying yourself, like, why did I just eat that? Or why I could have fit something else in that day. Instead of just, but then you catch on what you're saying to yourself, because you're aware of it. Awareness is the key. So once I'm like that, then I'm let it go. You're only eating ice cream, like full tub vegan ice cream. But but sometimes you're allowed a cheat day. So
But
am
you
I
need
more
that. Because if you don't have that and you're depriving yourself, then you do go from one extreme to the other. Because you're
that's when
negating
you
yourself,
become
and you cannot have. We never want to end up that way and saying we can't have some. We can do that, but not to the extent you have people doing it, saying, okay, I've just been to the gym for an hour, so I can have 2 chocolate biscuits or 3 hours. I can have a whole tub of ice cream or 10 pints of beer, whatever it is. I used to love that. People go to the gym, watch them come out, go straight to the pub. You go, what was the point in getting in the first place? That's what we're going to keep doing.
That's the vending machine.
It's the thing for me that's come through a lot of it is that you've been so many downs you've talked about that you've been through back and forward. Emotionally must have been so difficult to deal with that. But then your boys, you always go back to them. They've kept you. They've gave you the drive and the passion to keep going. Even when you talked seriously that you had thoughts about crashing your own car, you go through that. But you talked right at the beginning of this. They don't always want to spend time with mum now. One's 16, one's nearly 21. So they might not be around that much longer.
Yeah.
How do you deal with those things knowing that they might not be there all the time in your life?
I know. Well, they're actually not really there all the time anyway, so I'm getting used to it, because they're upstairs or they're out. They're getting on with their life. But I know what you mean when they get their own house and they have their own time and they get on with their life without me. I might have attachment issues to deal with. I'm only joking.
No, but seriously, so you know it's coming. What I'm trying to get is, because you've had such a difficult time emotionally, that do you actually find yourself planning for that? That if they're not going to be here, you know that you could have slips of that? Is there ways that you can put something in place so these things don't happen?
Do you mean like with drinking, or like going back to that?
No, it just in the emotional turmoil. You said you give yourself a hard time a lot because emotionally, but then they help you with that. But I'm trying to find really a phrase that because with everything you've been through and with that, and you keep saying about the fact is that self-worth is one that came up a lot when you were talking, I don't have this. And you said things can go back to childhood.
Yeah.
But you talked at one point at high school where you felt, what did you put it? You didn't belong. I wasn't part of a crowd. I wasn't part of a group. Wasn't out with anybody really. But then the next second, you were talking about partying with party kings and queens.
I know.
How did you get from that stage of not being someone who can mix with them to suddenly be one of the crowd that's always out partying?
Yeah. But when I was in that place, and when I'm sitting at the bar or when I'm out, I'm like looking, and I'm in my mind, I didn't feel like everybody. I used to look, and everybody seems to be in there, even though it was just my perception, because I have got friends and really good friends that I've had for all my life, but in my mind, just looking and thinking everybody's in a crowd, everybody's got somebody or got a partner or in with friends, and I just felt like totally out of place. And I used to just go, sometimes leave and say bye. I used to just go. So,
almost like you was on the outside looking in.
Yeah, like I was always happy. I looked happy, but I wasn't happy really. I remember I took tablets as well. I forgot about that when I was 17, I think. I took an overdose when I was 17, but never tell anybody. And just, and then obviously I was all right. I was just sick, but that's not normal when you look back when you're older and you look back at your behaviours and your feelings when you're that age. And in NLP, we done some trance work, and then you go back with some techniques and you talk to your younger self. So a lot of emotions came up and memories came up, and it's amazing because it's like you're that 9-year-old girl and you can see yourself and you can feel that emotion that you felt at that age. And this emotion comes up and it's like you've released it. So I've had a lot of that through my training, my learning on the journey. But I think, see, if because loads of things have happened that has just been a wee bit of a setback, but it's no set me back to go back to where I was. Never will I feel like that again, because I think, like, if I have a couple of glasses of wine now, or if I go out for a drink, I can stop. I'm home early. I hardly really drink actually, but and I think you get that wee bit in the back of your mind to the stop, and it's because you didn't want to. I'm not saying that you would go back, but there must be some sort of trigger now or some sort of button that's I've made, pattern I've made to just give me a cut off, that I'll never go back to that, because if you go over the boundary, then the chat, like if I missed a few days at the gym because I maybe hurt my shoulder or I was ill, like even although I've got these feelings, I'm not going to just open my bottle of wine, or like it's not going to set me back that way. It just gets me a bit emotional.
So before we came on tonight, you spoke about having a routine. So you obviously structure your life now into your routine. So obviously we spoke about that before we start recording. So can you just tell everybody what your actual routine is from when you get up in the morning?
So it never used to be this way, but when I was left my journey, started my journey, so my morning routine is 4 a.m. awake during the week, 4 a.m. awake, cold shower, and go to my training and CrossFit. I turned them and look daily. Yeah, go to my training and I go there for like a couple of sessions, and it just sets me up for the day. Gives me the endorphins. I'm just buzzing when I come out, and it keeps me motivated the whole day. If I didn't have my training, I mean, I can miss a couple of days because I didn't train over the weekend. So if I miss it, I've not really got much motivation to do much else. But if I do my yoga,
so it keeps you focused.
Yeah, but yoga gives me the focus as well, just in a different way, more internal. So you're working your mind, your focus, your clarity, your motivation. So the two of them actually have got similar qualities. They're just different.
I think what some people would be interested in, and they hear a lot about this, like most people call it the 5 a.m. club or that. But what a lot of people's worry about starting that early is, will they have a lull in the middle of the day? Is there a part of the day then, because you've been up so early? So, for example, if you're getting up and going to work now, you got up about 7, say for 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock start, whatever it is they go out. So you're already up 3 hours before that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people say even when they just a normal start to a day, that they have a wee lull in the middle of the afternoon, or somebody's need to re-energize. How do you deal with that, or how does that happen to you if you've had that early in the start?
So I could do some breathy fire, or some yoga, some breath work, a 20-minute meditation, a transcendental meditation. That just resets your mind, rests your mind more than it is rested when you're in a deep sleep. So I done it the day actually, and it's weird because it's like you have to do it for 2 times a day for 20 minutes, and I didn't even have to set a timer. I just wake up and it's, well, I open my eyes and it's 20 minutes later. So I do that.
Your mind gets the habit. Your mind will be used to doing it for that length of time, so it knows. Right. Well, one other question with that's definitely going to intrigue people is the people starting at that time. Now we're sitting now just after 9 o'clock. Okay, so that means between now and get up at 4 is 7 hours. Right, less than 7 hours. Now, how much sleep do you actually have?
So normally I'm in bed now. I'd be in. Sometimes I lie in bed at 8:30, but I would say now is my bed, and then 9:30 is the latest. I like to stay up. I don't really like to stay up. I like to be sleeping for 9:30, but
that makes sense. That's still, it's because they say between 6 and 8 hours that you need sleep. So that's what I was trying to get at, is how you managing to fit that in when you're doing things like this. So this is like, people have to understand, this is an exceptional evening for you by sitting doing this.
Yeah, because I'm here later. But I used to actually survive on 4 hours sleep, and I'd wake up fresh, and I had the best energy as well. It must have just, I think your body goes through different cycles. Sometimes it needs more sleep, and sometimes it doesn't. But they do say 8 hours sleep. But there was times 4 hours sleep. But I think because I was on a journey where I was like on that breakup, and then flinging myself into the fitness at that time, really, because I was running, I was going to CrossFit, I was back out running at night, and it was because I was going through a transition and heartbreak, and so I was definitely overtraining then, and I was living 4 hours sleep and then up doing it again. So it just depends really where you are in your life and what you're going through, I suppose. Yeah.
So how do you feel emotionally? That's the word you've used a lot. So where are you feeling emotionally in life now?
Emotionally, on a scale, depending what day, I'm very happy. I'm happy. I feel like I'm making progress. I actually, in the last 3 years, like 4 years probably, I've learned so much that I never thought I'd be able to teach yoga or be a PT or be an NLP coach. Like, I have learned so much, and I've changed my diet. I've been vegan 3.5 years. Like, massive changes in my life, and it's all helped my mind and my body, everything. Yeah, so I'm happy.
Good. So this leaves you one thing now then, is you're now at a better place. So you've got routines in your life, you've got structure in your life, you're better emotionally, and you've put that. You've done all this training. Okay. So that's great. You've got all that training. What are you going to do with it? So what's plans for Lisa now? You said till June you've got your, was it your fitness thing?
June, my college finishes.
Right.
My mum says, she keeps on saying, what are you doing with all these courses? You're not doing the courses. I'm like, but I'm master in my practice. Plus, you need to be, for to help other people, you need to have commitment for them and time for them. So obviously my college finishes in June. I was working in the gym as well, doing classes, which I loved, but I needed to have time to put my business together. So I'm concentrating on finishing college and putting my business together. I've actually got my first workshop next Saturday. My first yoga workshop. So moving forward, bringing all this together to help other people in June. So for coaching, for PT, yoga, healing therapies, there's a list. It all comes under the one umbrella for mind exercises, body exercises, and food choices.
So if you're looking for someone who's out there tonight, who's listening to this, Know your story then, so they know, which a lot of people want is someone who can understand or empathize what it's like they're going through. The one thing that's come out a lot with that is the word addiction. So is that your ideal clients, to work with people who suffered through emotional or physical addictions that you can actually work with?
Well, I've learned through my journey that I'm definitely not a professional addiction coach. I'm not an addiction coach, and I cannot help somebody. I can until they want to help themselves. So I would love to help people, but my experience trying to help somebody that suffers from addiction, they've got to be wanting to help it. And I think if we're going to addiction centres and helping people with some fitness or yoga or NLP techniques that would help on their journey, or if they were coming at the other end of the addiction, then I could help them develop morning routines or introduce healthy habits. Yeah, I'd love to help people like that, but I'm not a professional for addiction worker.
Right, that's great. So what are you ready to do? What's the type of clients that Lisa's looking for just now that can help you?
So anybody who is, because with the NLP and the yoga and fitness, it can cover anybody really, men, women, anybody who's suffering, anybody who's want help with weight loss or stress management, hormones, menopause. I forgot to mention that. Went through early menopause at 39. Fling that one in. Because that changes your mind, changes your body, changes the way you store food. It's massive. You feel like you're going off your head sometimes, but it's just your hormones. So yeah, it's just people who want to make a routine, just want to release stress, release anger. Yeah, I mean, obviously I would, if I could help somebody with addiction, if they had a proper addiction worker, then I'd like to go to addiction centres as well and maybe do yoga and fitness.
Great,
So
because it's something you could do to pay back. Yeah.
Sorry, do you have a way that people can contact you? I mean, I know you haven't finished your courses and you're still getting your business up and running, but if anyone's watching this tonight or over the next few weeks that thinks, I'd like to get in touch, is there a way that they can get in touch with you now?
Yeah, they can get in touch with me on Instagram or Facebook.
Okay, so what are you known as on Instagram and Facebook?
So Instagram is Kundalini Yoga by Lisa.
Yeah.
And Facebook's just Lisa Maria Mitchell.
Okay.
I've actually got a Kundalini Yoga Facebook page, but I've not been using it. So.
Okay, so at least people can contact you on either of those. Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for it all, for the time tonight, for everything you said. And I said there, thanks for being so open as well. And like put that. So if you have heard things that you've heard and you can resonate with Lisa's things, if you've got any questions or queries or comments on it, please let us know. If you want to get in touch with Lisa and you can't find her through those things, get in touch with me and I'll put you in touch with Lisa. She's an amazing lady and she's brilliant at what she does, even if she doesn't boost herself up by saying that the other now. She is really good at what she does. So I'll do that for her. I'll do the bossman part. If you want somebody that can really help with any of those things, but more so, if you want help to balance your own mind and body, and spirit together is such an important part to get that balance right. And what Lisa's explained to you tonight is how she's had to go through that and find how to do that herself. So she'll be an amazing person to help you to do that. So if anybody is looking for that, let us know and we'll get in touch with Lisa. So thank you very much for that. And Leanne, how can they get in touch with you?
So you can contact me at realityspace@gmail.com, or you can go on my website at www.reality-space.co.uk. I also have a Facebook page, Reality, you can go on to, or you can contact me through Tony as well. Okay.
And mine, as always, is Tony Gordon at changeyourmindlimited.com, and the limited is LTD. So Tony Gordon at changeyourmindlimited.com. Get me on Facebook, you find me on Instagram, or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on most of our prospect, and then here, get anywhere to social media that you can get. So thank you very much, both the ladies, for tonight. It was really good with that. Appreciate that. Join us next week then for the final episode of this series. I've got a few things then you'll be interested to hear about. It's going to be a little bit about reminiscing about what we've seen in this series, the things that really stuck out the most for us, but also something that interesting what we're doing going forward, following up from the series. So you'll have to tune in next week to find out what that is, but you will be enjoying it. So make sure you do that. Tune in and we'll let you know what all that's about. So thank you, everybody, and take care of yourself, take care of your family, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Tony.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.